Hello, students. Welcome back to your Foundations of Literacy Distance Learning Academy. It's me, Mr. Ahrens. I am not here at this desk with this nice apple. I am in my studios in Jamaica Plain, and it is the beginning of a new week. We just had the weekend, whatever the weekend means anymore. For me, it was very similar to the rest of last week. I don't know. Maybe you did something cool. Maybe you went outside and took a walk. It was a pretty nice weekend. Anyways, we're gonna get started today with a fresh week of new assignments. Before we do get started, here is my contact information. You got my email and my cell phone number in case you want to text me. Um, I'm very bored, so please send me a text. Just give me a picture of what you're doing, or I don't know, send me a funny emoji. That would really make my day. I hope you guys are doing well. And I have some news to share with you. So I looked at all the work that you guys have been doing from last week, and I totaled up the number of pages that you told me you read in your independent reading book, and I want to share that with you now. So, drum roll, please. The grand total of pages read by Foundations of Literacy students last week was no, that's too small. That's too small. Nope, that is still too small. The grand total read by Foundations of Literacy students last week was. That's right. 774 pages. That's excellent. That means you guys are reading, which is fantastic. That's one way to keep your brains sharp during this time that we have away from school. So that's right. Party it up like that dancing zebra, but also keep reading. That's right. Spin the records, cat. Next week, I want to make sure that this number is a lot bigger. So keep reading, keep telling me what you're reading and the ticket to leaves. Okay, so speaking of reading, I actually want to share with you guys a little bit about the book that I have been reading. It is intense, as my Bitmoji says. It is called Unwind. It is by the author Neal Shusterman, and it is fantastic. Let me tell you about it. So, in this book, it's like a dystopian novel. And in the society where these kids live, there was a war, and the war was over reproductive rights. So, that mainly deals with like abortion and stuff. Um, and after the war happened, there were some new laws. Abortion was illegal. So, like killing a child before it was born was illegal. Every child that was conceived had to be born and had to live until the age of 13. However, then at the age of 13 to the age of 18, any child that the parents like just weren't impressed with, or any child that was getting in trouble or just wasn't like meeting expectations really, could be what they call unwound. And what that means is they would take the kid, they would send them to this camp where the state would, they never say kill because like that's a bad word, but they would take the kid and they would use their organs in other people around the world. So they would like make them organ donors, take all of their vital organs and give them to people around the world, basically killing them. But they would never be like, oh, the child is killed. They would say they are being unwound because they said that their organs lived on, so that the kid lived on. But pretty much, if a parent didn't like their child after 13 years, they could send them to camp and they would be taken care of, so to say. So it's really cool, and it is intense, obviously. I'm only about 50 pages into it, but I'm really enjoying it. And I'm going to read a little bit of it to you today to help me explain the work that we're going to be doing. So, today in your distance learning session, which is number 5, the objective is that students will analyze their independent reading books by writing a response to their reading annotations. And so what this means, analyze, means that you think about the story and you write your thoughts about the story. And the analysis that you're going to be doing is going to come from the reading annotations that I've been asking you to make from last week's lessons. And today you're going to do a little bit of writing on a document that's on the Google Classroom. And just want to make sure that you see this, that once you do the writing in the classroom, I want you to hit turn in, because then that sends me a notification that you've done it and I can go and look at it and give you some feedback. So hopefully you have been making some annotations with sticky notes or by some way in your book, thinking about character, thinking about visualization, any of the skills that we've been talking about in class lately, because that's going to help you out, right? So to let you know how this is going to work, I want to read you a little bit of my book. And here it is. This is Unwind, the book I was just telling you about. This is my Lizzo bookmark. I want to read you the very beginning of the first chapter, so you get a sense of what it's like. Okay, this is part 1. It's called Triplicate. All right, it's written from the point of view of this kid, Connor. Here we go. There are places you can go, Ariana tells him, and a guy as smart as you has a decent chance of surviving to 18. Connor isn't so sure, but looking into Ariana's eyes makes his doubts go away, if only for a moment. Her eyes are sweet, with violet streaks of gray. She's such a slave to fashion, always getting the newest pigment injection the second it's in style. Connor was never into that. He always kept his eyes the color they came in, brown. He's never even gotten tattoos, like so many other kids get these days when they're little. The only color on his skin is the tan that it takes during the summer. But now, in November, the tan has long faded. He tries not to think about the fact that he'll never see the summer again. At least, not as Connor Lassiter. He still can't believe that his life is being stolen from him at 16. Ariana's violet eyes begin to shine as they fill with tears that flow down her cheeks when she blinks. Connor, I'm so sorry. She holds him, and for a moment it seems as if everything is going to be okay, as if they are the only two people on Earth. For that instant, Connor feels invincible, untouchable. But she lets go, the moment passes, and the world around him returns. Once more he can feel the rumble of the freeway beneath them. As the cars pass by, not knowing or caring that he's here. Once more he's just a marked kid, a week short of unwinding. The soft, hopeful things Ariana tells him don't help now. He can barely hear her over the rush of the traffic. This place where they hide from the world is one of those dangerous places that make adults shake their heads, grateful that their own kids aren't stupid enough to hang out on the ledge of the freeway overpass. For Connor, it's not about stupidity or even rebellion. It's about feeling life. Sitting on the ledge, hidden behind an exit sign, is where he feels most comfortable. Sure, one false step and he's roadkill. Yet, for Connor, life on the edge is home. There have been no other girls he's brought here, although he hasn't told Ariana that. He closes his eyes, feeling the vibration of the traffic as if it's pulsing through his veins. A part of him. This has always been a good place to get away from fights with his parents or when he just feels generally boiled. By now, Connor's beyond boiled, even beyond fighting with his mom and dad. There's nothing more to fight about. His parents signed the order. It's a done deal. We should run away, Ariana says. I'm fed up with everything, too. My family, school, everything. I could kick AWOL and never look back. Connor hangs on that thought. The idea of kicking AWOL by himself terrifies him. He might put up a tough front. He might act like a bad boy at school, but running away on his own? He doesn't even know if he has the guts. But if Ariana comes, that's different. That's not alone. Do you mean it? Ariana looks at him with her magical eyes. Sure I do. I could leave here if you asked me. Connor knows this is major. Running away with an unwind? That's commitment. The fact that she would do it moves him beyond words. He kisses her, and in spite of everything going on in his life, Connor suddenly feels like the luckiest guy in the world. He holds her, maybe a little too tightly, because she starts to squirm. It just makes him want to hold her even more tightly, but he fights that urge and lets go. She smiles at him. AWOL, she says. What does that mean, anyway? It's an old military term or something, Connor says. It means absent without leave. Ariana thinks about it and grins. More like alive without lectures. Connor thinks about it and grins. Oh, excuse me. Connor takes her hand, trying hard not to squeeze it too tightly. She said she'd go if he asked her. Only now does he realize that he hasn't actually asked yet. Will you come with me, Ariana? Ariana smiles and nods. Sure, she says. Sure, I will. So that's a little bit about the book. Connor is, of course, one of the kids that is being unwound in this story. And it's pretty neat. So as I was reading this the first time, I found this part where it's talking about Connor being on top of the overpass. And I made this note. This shows me that Connor is an outcast and he's feeling depressed. Okay, that's where I was trying to think more about the character, something that we talked about last week. So today, what you're going to do is on Google Classroom, you're going to find this document that I made for you. It's called Writing Long About Your Independent Reading Book. And so what I really want you to do here is to just analyze some of the annotations that you made. I want you to start by just reminding me what your book title is. Mine is Unwind. I'm currently on what page am I on? 53. And then you're going to choose 5 annotations from the week's reading to highlight. So maybe you made more than 5. I just want you to choose the 5 best ones. And I want you to type what you wrote on the boxes in here and do it exactly what you wrote. So I said, this shows me that Connor is an outcast and he is feeling depressed. Actually, and then I want you to put the page number. So this comes from page 4. All right, so just like that. What this is going to do is show me a little bit about what your mind is thinking as you are reading. And it's also going to help you to do your writing down here. Right? So you will go through, you'll find 5 of your annotations. I went ahead and did that to save some time. And so these are the annotations that I chose. These are my 5 best ones. And once you do that, then you're going to write at least to the end of the page, and you can see it says end here, a response to your annotations. And a response doesn't mean summary. I want you to avoid summarizing the story. Okay? Try using these sentence stems instead. I think, the reason for this, for example, this connects to, this is important because, or on the other hand. So I started my writing, and I'll read it to you just so you can see what it kind of sounds like. All right, I said, this story really had me hooked from the beginning. I needed to know why Connor was running away from his family and how he was going to do it. I saw that on page 4 he was feeling depressed, and then text made me think that he was an outcast. He also sounded like he was nervous about being alone, so he decided to ask his girlfriend to run away with him. This is important because it shows Connor will need people to help him. Right? I forgot my period here. All right, what I'm doing here is I am telling a little bit about the story because I just need that to explain my annotations, but mostly I am trying to explain my thinking about the characters, about what's going on in the story. This is going to help me to better understand what I'm reading, connect to what I'm reading, and also try out the skill of analysis. So I will keep typing and using my annotations as a guide. Like maybe the next thing I'll say is also there was this character named Lev, and I thought that he was being manipulative. And then I'll keep explaining about that. And I'll try and type all the way down till I get to end here. Once I do that, I'm going to hit turn in. It'll say turn in on your document and you'll be good. So after you do your typing, the last thing to do is to read a little bit more of your independent reading. Of course, 25 minutes is what I want from you to do every day. Notice and note those important parts of the story using a sticky note. You can apply the strategies that you learned from last week's session, and if you need any of them, you can go back and watch the videos from last week. And then be sure that you do that ticket to leave so that I can see how many pages you are reading, right? Again, if you have any questions at all, you can text me or you can email me, and I can help you out with that. All right, thank you very much, readers. Enjoy your independent reading books. I'm going to go back to freaking myself out by reading Unwind, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.